Sup. Welcome to the Sports Yammer. I am a sports yammer. It's Monday. It's a little past 9. Sorry, we got distracted because I'm in a new location. We're trying out doing this from my job in Colorado at the radio station. Hopefully because the internet is a little bit stronger and a little bit better. But it's okay. I am, though, despite what my internet signal says, I am a sports yammer. I am the sports yammer, your host, Matt Brown, live from Colorado as I'm trying not to be sad watching the United States play Belgium, but it is what it is. Joining me today, per usual, is the co-host, the main co-host, if anything, of the Sports Yammer, Kyle. Kyle, how we doing today?
I'm good. I'm also trying to not get distracted by. There's a bar right next to my place, so I'm trying to make sure that they're not letting me know what's happening in the game before I actually do know.
Oh, that's the worst game. That is the worst game.
So when Frankie and I were watching Germany Paraguay, it was awesome, but also the bar, like down the street had the game more live than we were. I think we were like a little bit behind. So every time the penalty kicks were going, we could kind of tell what was going on by the reaction from the bar behind us, and it was so annoying.
Genuinely hate that. That's one of the things that I couldn't stand when we were watching like the NBA finals, and like I was like behind, and like Ryan would be like, "Oh, the Knicks won." I'm like, "Can you like let me enjoy it?" And then I did. But joining us today is a guest we haven't seen in a minute, and this is his first time being on the YouTube channel of the Sports Yammer. Will Siskin, Will from Kind of Boston. Will, how we doing today? Will, I actually do forget what town in Massachusetts do you live? It's not Stoughton.
No, we are in the North Shore. We're in Woburn.
Becca's from Stoughton.
Yeah.
Were you by Reading?
We're like, so we used to be closer to Reading. Now we're in Woburn, which is like sort of close to the Burlington and the Western. Well, I guess I consider Worcester Western Mass, and then everything west of that is, the boonies.
Oh, you're closer to Worcester. Oh, so you guys are pretty central now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Dang, I didn't know that. That's really cool. Good for you guys.
Yeah,
and joining dope. What?
It's dope here.
That's good. And joining us from an undisclosed location, because I actually don't know where he is today. Okay, it looks like he's in his house. We got Ryan. Ryan, how are we doing today?
Good, man. How you doing today?
I am just sad looking at this soccer game, but it's okay because I'm with the homies and we're going to Yammer Bo Bammer. Now, first, gents, I know we're not exactly soccer hooligans. We're not. And currently, there is the United States playing Belgium right now. It is, at least on my screen, it's in the 57th minute. We're about to enter the 57th minute. The Belgium is up on the U.S. 2-1. U.S. got tied it on a great free kick by Tillman, but then almost immediately gave up a goal on the other end by to Belgium as the U.S. goalie gets tripped. And, oh, man, that was really bad.
Yeah. We were saying what? He got cocky, right? Because we were like, don't let him get it back to the goal.
That was really bad. This is not how I wanted to start this show.
Well,
my mom just texted me. That's how bad this is. It's over. It's over. Oh, my God.
I'm going to tell you what I tell the entire Mets Discord. It's not over till it's over.
Dude, I feel like I'm watching Game 3 of the NBA Finals.
Oof. Oh, my God. Oh, I just saw that.
Yeah, it's over.
It might be over.
Yeah, that's bad. That's so bad. Oh, my God. You idiot. Ah! That's so bad.
You talk about other soccer games?
Oof.
Ah!
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to reverse this juju of this dog crap of the United States just screwing themselves. And I want to talk about something that's soccer related that made me happy. And that is, gentlemen, I need to talk about everything and all things that happened on Friday in regards to Cabo Verde versus Argentina. That was legit. Like, I am not a soccer historian or extraordinaire, nor do I pretend to be. But that was very genuinely the most dramatic and enthralling soccer match I've ever seen. It was super stupid competitive. And guys, like, we literally almost watched definitely the greatest upset of the century, but arguably the greatest upset in sport history. That's what we almost watched. And it stinks it didn't go the way it was supposed to, but like it literally had to be Messi. It literally had to be the defending champs to knock out Cabo Verde. Like no team beat them in regular time. This had to go to extra time. This was incredible to watch. This was so much fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I like it was funny because I just remember I'm just thinking of all of the memes that I saw going into this matchup, and it was just like kind of like of mice and many in the sense of like, oh, tell me about the rabbits. Oh, I'll tell you about the rabbits. Poof. And it's just kind of like, well, this was cute, Cabo Verde, but now you're going to the guillotine. And they didn't do that, man. They played a stupid competitive game, like again against Messi. Against the literal defending champion, the literal best player in the world. He's currently battling it out with Mbappe for the Golden Boot. Like this transcends if you like soccer or not. This is just, do you like sports or do you just like the story of the power of the human spirit almost? I'm not trying to get like too hyperbolic, but like that is how big this was. Matt, you're probably being too hyperbolic. Oh, really, hypothetical person? I don't know how you're hypothetical here. We got 0 viewers at the moment, but to put it in more perspective, 2.7 billion people worldwide reportedly watched this game.
Mm-hmm.
Vizino is probably going to be elected Cabo Verde president at some point. He can literally live wherever the hell he wants in Cabo Verde. They're giving him a house. They're giving him a Rolls Royce. And on top of that, he might secure like a 1 to 2 year deal from Inter Miami from David Beckham to just casually make like 10 mil in the U.S. to just like fart around in goal for 2 years. Gentlemen, Kyle, I'll toss it to you because you're our resident World Cupper. Kyle, this game was like you really like good games, but also you really like games with like context and perspective of things and like what just like the larger outcomes from this game other than like the score. So what were your observations from this game?
Well, first off, I'm going to give you a list real quick, right? New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, Phoenix, Philadelphia, San Antonio, San Diego, Dallas, Fort Worth, Jacksonville, Austin, San Jose, Charlotte, Columbus, Indianapolis, San Francisco, Seattle, Denver, Nashville, Oklahoma City, Washington, El Paso, Las Vegas, Boston, Detroit, Louisville, Portland, Memphis, Baltimore, Milwaukee, Albuquerque, Fresno, Tucson, Sacramento, and Atlanta. Gentlemen, that are the cities in the United States that have a higher population than the whole entire country of Cabo Verde. Just to give you an idea of how big Cabo Verde is. This was an absolutely incredible game. I honestly did not think, once they went up 2-1, I did not know if they were going to have the wherewithal to be able to tie it up, and that second goal by Cabo Verde was absolutely incredible. Probably the best goal that we have seen this tournament so far. It is really impressive that they were able to keep every one of the games that they have played tied going into extra time. That's you haven't seen any other teams do that in the competition. And look at who they faced, because they faced Spain, they faced Argentina, they faced an Uruguay who was supposed to be a lot more competitive than they actually were, and even Saudi Arabia is not necessarily a bad team per se either. This is what I love getting into this World Cup this year, and what I feel like a lot of American sports are doing wrong, right? We have this model in college football, in college basketball, that if you're not part of the Power Four or Power Five, then you don't really mean much. And look at all of the pushback that has happened in the college football playoff because we've had two teams that are from group of five conferences, and they're like, no, we should not have any of these. We should just only have Power Four, or let it just be the Big Ten and the SEC, right? When you do that, you get rid of incredible stories like these. And I understand that maybe the money is a little bit different when it comes to like solely American versus the rest of the world, but maybe that's like a plague on us, that we should be doing a little bit better at this, because there's no point in having all these large 132 370 teams in college basketball. There's no point in having these leagues if you're not actually going to highlight those teams when they actually are doing well. And World Cup has been a great opportunity to see that with Cabo Verde.
It was just an incredible story, and I was low-key like taken aback at like how much I enjoyed watching that game. Ryan, you're kind of like me in the sense of like, even going into the World Cup, we were like, yes, like go USA, but like soccer head. Blah, 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 blah. Ryan, this game did not include USA, but we were both watching this game. Ryan, what was your take on this game as someone who also likes deeper thoughts of sports outside of just like, oh, the score?
Yeah, I mean, definitely not someone who's going to be able to speak the technical jargon of soccer. As casual as casual gets. But what a cool story. This is the story of the World Cup, and that is the goal of the World Cup, man. Like when they scored to go up 2-1, I did not think that that's like Cabo's got nothing left. I mean, it's a good run. You drew Spain, you pushed Argentina to the brink, but I think this is where, they run out of gas. And then one of the most beautiful goals I think I've ever seen. And I was like, wow, okay. And I thought at that point that we were going to get penalty kicks. And I thought at that point, all the pressure's on Argentina. And, Messi just does what Messi does. He kind of puts it away, and that's the GOAT for you. But I was just so enthralled watching a game like that compared to like the France-Paraguay game, like the dichotomy of just how boring that game was to me. And that's kind of like how I usually view soccer. It's like those 1-0 games where I'm like, nothing's happening. I'm not really interested in watching this. This is really boring. To make me be that engaged in a soccer game shows you how special that moment was. And I think a lot of people got to see just why so many other countries love soccer so much. And in a game like that can really turn non-fans into fans. So big props to Cabo Verde. That was super impressive. And, for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I was a soccer fan.
Yeah, no, seriously. I told Cal that I would be watching more in the elimination rounds in the round of 32, and I have been. And let me tell you something. I didn't expect to see a sporting event that would rival the drama of Hoosiers. Let me tell you something, friends. Will, you're joining us not just because I asked you. You're joining us because you don't just like the World Cup. You are actually one of the few friends I have that watches sports and actually likes soccer. I believe your club is Liverpool. Your homie Mohamed Salah is the top guy. He's the captain of the Egyptian team. He had a very good outing. Forgive me, I forget who they beat, but they had a really good outing. It's him and Messi. I think tomorrow in Atlanta, right?
Yep, that's gonna be a fun game to watch because you've got these two giants, and it's like everyone thought, oh, Ronaldo's gone now. Bye, Ronaldo. Yeah. This is gonna be a game to watch for sure. And I mean, Salah's been solid for Liverpool, and to see him with the Egyptian national team just totally like mopping the floor with other teams. It's amazing to watch. And I mean, even though Australia held them to penalty kicks, like you still had a feeling that they were just going to take over. And I'm excited to see what they do versus Argentina tomorrow.
Now, as someone who watches soccer significantly more than everyone else in this chat, what was your experience watching that Cabo Verde Argentina game? Like, because like Will, they almost took out the GOAT. They almost took out Messi.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of game. If I'm a FIFA guy, like if I'm Mr. Infantino himself, I'm like, thank God for this game, because you want people who are going to watch this game. They might not know what's going on, but they can see an underdog. Is that the right word? My brain's been broken. It's been so hot here. You want to see an underdog go up against the giant, and you want to see the underdog do really well. And Cabo Verde did just that. They did what they did through the entire group stage, held the other team to a really close game. Used their defense wisely right up until the very end. And if not for that 111-minute goal, that own goal, we would have been in penalty kicks. And it's just the one little thing where you're like, if only. But this was the kind of game where if you are part of FIFA's like upper administration, you're like, this is going to bring in viewers. Unlike that Paraguay game, which is like, we don't want more games like that. Get those games out of the way. Like the game earlier today, which was boring. I'm sorry, it was boring.
No, keep going.
Oh yeah.
My you were agreeing with you.
I gotcha. I got my feelings about Portugal and Spain because I was like, that's the kind of game you don't want to see. If you're like, what are we doing here? We're just watching these guys run around. They're not really doing much on the field. They're just trying to play keep away with the ball until they can say, oh, we'll shoot. But Argentina, Cabo Verde was a lot of action, a lot of attacking on the goals, some really good defense. And it was just kind of the kind of game that I was enthralled with for the entire time.
Yeah, I just like get stuck on this. Like they almost beat Messi, and I think Messi, part of that is probably just because of my limited soccer scope. But like, it's Messi, man. Like he's literally the most popular athlete in the world, and they almost took him out. And like Messi, I think this low key also speaks to the greatness of Messi. Give me a second, like. It was their response to it. Argentina's kind of been the butt of the jokes online in soccer culture for this FIFA. You can do your own research on that. But one thing that like can't be like disputed is Messi. Messi is Messi. Messi's inevitable. But even Messi after that game, he dapped up all of those guys. He went to their locker room to like take pictures with them, and like Argentina, like I don't know if how much you guys watched the game, how much you guys kept it on the game after the final whistle blew, but like it was quiet. It was quiet. Like it was like you could hear a pin drop. Like the game was over, and like Argentina, like you would have thought they were playing for the World Cup, and it was interesting. My overall point is Messi. I'm curious to see how this affects Messi and Argentina going forward. Does is this them? Like, did Cabo Verde maybe expose something that can be exposed by, say, like Egypt and Salah? Or is this the kind of game that like someone as great as Messi, they see this and they recalibrate, and we're just going to watch like Atlanta get painted red with blood? Kyle, what do you think?
So I don't think this is a fault of Argentina, because we saw throughout the whole entire group stage that Cabo Verde is able to do this, right? Bozina was playing out of his mind as a 40-year-old, and I believe, if I've read correctly, now he's going to be on Inter Miami with Messi, which is going to be super cool. But like, they were able to do that against Spain. Now you could argue that Yamal was not in there for most of the game, and therefore, if Yamal was there, maybe it would have been a little bit different. Maybe we wouldn't have this Cabo Verde story. But on the whole, they've been doing this to everybody. I think the one thing that I would be a little bit worried about, and I don't know if Egypt is able to capitalize on this, but it's basically been the Messi team throughout the whole entire time. I mean, like, you can't be scoring 7 goals and 5 of them in the first 5 goals, right? If your rest of your team is not able to step up offensively. So what does happen if it felt like there was this chess match between the Cabo Verde defense and Messi for a little bit, and Messi was able to pull ahead eventually because it's really hard to stop him for 90 minutes. I think you either have to have somebody who can shut down attempts from Messi for the full 90 minutes, or you need to have a team that can attack offensively so much that even with Messi, it's not going to matter. I don't know if Egypt is that team. I don't even know if Colombia is that team. But against a Norway, against an England, that might be a completely different story.
Now, I want to move on because you said a name that triggered the next part of what I want to cover, as well as my ADHD. So good job on you, Kyle. And that is the second game, the second biggest game of this weekend by far was Mexico-England. First things first. God damn it. Like, I know England is good, but damn it. Damn it. Look. The only colonizer I root for are the Stars and Stripes, okay? At least for me when it comes to FIFA, all right? The only oppressors I root for are the oppressors that I was born into, okay? But like, man, I really wanted Mexico to win because this Mexico team was really, really good. I was hearing things mainly from Kyle, but then also from some of the soccer coverage that I do follow, that like if they got past the round of 16, got into the quarterfinals, they could make some noise. Here's the thing, though. This English team, as Kyle also mentioned, is also stacked. They have kind of a good mix of like younger stars, and then you also have Harry Kane, who, look at me doing research. I learned over the weekend he's one of a handful of players to score over 500 career goals.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's a list of, I think, maybe 30 guys. Maybe. Like, it's really hard to do. That's how good this Harry Kane fella is. And man, like Mexico, they got sloppy early, and Bellingham was able to score twice for England. He's supposed to be like the younger star on that team, at least from what I picked up on the broadcast. I haven't been watching much of England in this FIFA World Cup, in case you can tell. But Harry Kane just setting up, because then also like that second goal, they absolutely used Kane as a decoy to draw some Mexican defenders that then left Bellingham wide open for that second goal. It was really fun. It was absolutely electric, and it ended the wrong way. Will, you and I were texting throughout the matchup. Other than the sadness of Mexico losing, what did you think of that matchup, and just the way that England is playing now through this point? Do they need to be talked about as a serious contender for the World Cup?
I mean, I think you always have to consider them as a contender. There's always a talk about it's coming home, right? And I think this year,
home, right, bruv?
First off, the amount of times we heard that here in Boston, because we have the Scottish and we have the British. The Scottish, wonderful, wonderful guests. Sister city now, Boston and Glasgow. It's great. British fans, I can't say the same thing. I'm sorry, but frankly, the way they've been playing, I do think we need to say, all right, perhaps England could be a contender. The way they played against Mexico was fine. I did think that Mexico really had the edge. They had a lot of momentum. They just couldn't get the job done. And if they'd had a little more time, perhaps they could have equalized it. But I think Norway and England, I think that's where we're really going to see what this English team is all about. Because Norway, and I know we'll get to them, but they've been playing their butts off. I mean, they've got the vibes. They truly do have the vibes. So I think England's problem in that game is going to be can we fight against the vibes that Norway has and just sweep them off their feet?
Ryan, did you watch Mexico England?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it.
What did you think of that game?
I thought Mexico was clearly the better team for the majority of that game. I think England capitalized on its chances when they got them. I'm not surprised. Actually, I am a little surprised that Mexico wasn't able to tie it up at the end because they had possession for the last 20 minutes, and there was just an onslaught. And England's goalie just made clutch save after clutch punch out. Guys putting their bodies on to block shots. Like, Mexico clearly was attacking and pressing the matter because they needed the equalizer. But I'm just really impressed with how well England withstood that barrage towards the end, because that was defending for 25 straight minutes without getting the ball out of your third. And I was like, I felt the momentum, and I felt like Mexico was going to tie it up. But again, props to England for withstanding that and showcasing some mental fortitude that, can actually help them against a game like against Norway. Like, that's a good learning experience of how to close out a game defensively.
And they got that vet savvy in Harry Kane, man. Like,
yeah,
500 goals. Not exactly a bad player.
No.
Kyle, a few weeks back, actually, no, I think it was last week, actually. We were talking about the World Cup, observations, all that jazz. You said whoever won Mexico, England, they could be either like third or fourth favorite to win the World Cup. England has since won. Do you amend that in terms of making them go higher? Because Harry Kane has had 3 goals in his last two games. He's been playing really, really well. Bellingham is playing really well. It kind of feels like there's a few teams that they're kind of having like a perfect moment for their generation of like soccer team. And this is kind of like, if England wants to get it, it kind of feels like, all right, this is going to be the year, because Harry Kane's going to be in his 40s next time, which means he might not be there. Bellingham, he's emerged as a star. They clearly have younger players that they are fans of. Like, they really like this team. And they beat a tough Mexico team in Azteca. Does that shift England in your mind, or are Argentina and France just that much ridiculously better?
So first, I gotta push back a little bit on the idea that Mexico was the better team in this match, because I'm sorry, but if you have the ball for the last 20 minutes and you have a man advantage, you should theoretically be able to do something and get a goal. And that goes towards England being an incredible deep and defensive team. They were talking about on a morally abhorrent, the idea that this is probably the deepest England team, and so much so that there were a lot of players that were left off of this team that you could have made really good arguments for them being on that roster. So I would like to say this pushes up England, but at the same time, I honestly thought there was a chance that Brazil was going to beat Norway. And now with Norway here, I'm going to amend that, unfortunately, that I think that this is probably the toughest match now, right? Of whoever wins Norway, England, I could definitely see in the finals. Just because I feel like this is a matchup between a deep team versus, this might be a weird comparison, but like a Josh Allen-led team in Norway.
That's actually
I see
a
it.
very interesting comparison.
I mean, he did score both of those goals.
I definitely see it. I definitely see the comp.
Yeah,
like his size. Like, I know we're going to talk about Norway event shortly, but like, dude's 6'4",
6'5".
Dude's not that far off from the size of Josh Allen, which is like wild to say, and he's just running around causing havoc on the pitch.
I'm looking at a picture of Haaland right now. He kind of looks like very blonde Josh Allen.
A little bit.
He's very much like a modern Thor. Let's actually use that as a transition, because the third story, if you could rank them, was Norway. And more specifically, if we're being honest, Erling Haaland, because he was already having an incredible tournament. forgive me if this is soccer ignorant. I feel like he's kind of the breakout star low key of the tournament, in the sense of like after this tournament, he's in his mid-20s. He's already I do not know which club he's on, but I do know that he's on like a pretty high level club in Europe. And I'm sure soccer stands know him and love him, but there's a part of me that wonders if like after this, does this like elevate him in terms of like status in the soccer world? Because forgive me, I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but he's either tied with or he is trailing by exactly 1 goal behind. I think he's tied with them in points, or he's 1 behind in points, but he might have more goals. I can't remember, but he is 1 behind Mbappe and Messi, aka the 2 best players in the world. So, Kyle, you've been listening a little more to Morley Abhorrent and Will, because you do watch Liverpool and Premier and more professional leagues in Europe. Maybe you can chime in after Kyle. But specifically with Haaland, when it's all said and done, is he not necessarily, like Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe, but like, is he now going to be like one of the faces of soccer / football going forward?
I mean, I would like to think so. This is a coming out party because this is the first time that he's been in the World Cup. I believe, if I remember correctly, this is Norway's first cup since the 90s.
And their first ever.
Yeah. So this stuff, like, if he wasn't known before, like to the masses, he's definitely going to be now. It's super cool that the race is basically right now Mbappe, Haaland, and Messi for was
the Golden Boot.
The Golden Boot. Thank you. It's and like also just the efficiency, because I said this in the group chat. He has 7 goals on 17 shots. That's like high levels of efficiency right there, especially with the amount.
That's just below a 50% shooter in the NBA.
Yep. That's dangerous, especially with the amount of times he is touching the ball. To have that sort of control to be able to do that. The header that he had was absolutely nasty. Just like putting that guy to the side as he's getting that. It's just like, it's not fair. And that's why I was saying he has a little bit of a Josh Allen to me. Is like, you're using that size and speed. I looked it up. He's same height, 30 pounds lighter, which makes more sense because you need to run so much constantly on the pitch. He's not that much different from a Josh Allen type. And I guess as a Bills fan, I really hope that doesn't mean that he will also have the same issues with very important games late in the tournament.
Man, it is just, sorry, I'm watching the game and it's just making me sad. Will, I want to pass it over to you. Will, do you know what team he plays for? And what league he's in?
He's Manchester City. He's
on a big boy club.
Yeah,
he's on a big boy club.
Yeah. So it's I've got FB Ref up here, and this is like the go-to for any soccer, football, real football stat. He was Dortmund. He started out in Germany, and then he came over to Manchester City.
Bundesliga.
Yeah. So, and he's been like on fire for them. Like, they won the EFL Cup. They won the FA Cup. These guys, I mean, they're on fire right now over in jolly old England. And he's kind of like one of the names there. So I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes like, depending on how Norway does in the rest of this competition, if he becomes a household name in soccer, that'll be pretty much expected.
Because also he's young too. Like, I don't even know if he's like 25 yet.
25.
Yeah, no, like he's young, so he's got at least, like, Norway's got to make it, but like he's got at least, and like, if his body holds up, like he's got at least 3 more cups, and like he is like he is a freaking dog, man. Like he is a dog. Like like I don't know. Like I can't think of another player that's like having like a breakout. You know what I mean? Because like that's the other thing. The stars are starring. Like the stars are out and about in FIFA. Doesn't matter if it's group. Doesn't matter if it's round of 32 or round of 16. The stars are stupid performing. Ryan, Holland is Josh Allen. Do you want him to start as a quarterback?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fantastic. The kid is legit, man. He has all the skill sets you could want. He's big, fast, strong. He's literally a linebacker playing football. It's so impressive to watch. He's single-handedly carrying Norway. I think it's the first they've ever been in the tournament. Mistake me if I'm wrong. I thought I heard that potentially.
Quarter. It's the first time they've been in the quarters.
Yeah, and I think he gets a good matchup against England. I think it's a favorable matchup for him. I think he's going to be able to have some success against that English team, and I think it's going to be a really fun matchup to watch. And I'm excited to see what this kid can do because he's another guy that I had no idea about for a tournament and have been like very impressed with just how he plays soccer. He plays it with like an actual American football mentality, which is really fun to watch.
Yeah, like him against like Harry Kane and Bellingham, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. That's going to be a hoot and a holler. And I'm not just repeating those names because they're the only ones that I know. They are. Anyway, I mentioned it briefly, but I do want to talk about this because I've been talking about it in multiple chats. I've talked about it a little bit, I think, in our chat, Ryan and Will.
Yep.
Ryan and Will. Ryan and Kyle. I think I've also talked about it with Will as well. And I've also talked about it in my chat, in my group chat with Jay. I had to ask my friends who are more soccer literate than me, and because I was like, this is more competitive and better than the last World Cup, right? Because the last World Cup, I don't recall being talked about nearly this much. I know that part of it is because we were still escaping Dorona, but I haven't heard the World Cup talked about this much in like 12 years, and like part of that I think definitely has to do with the freaking stars, man. Like literally every team star, even if they're on the losing end, came to play. Neymar got the only goal for Brazil in the elimination game. You know, Ronaldo, he was able to find the fountain of youth for a game or two. You know, Messi could potentially win a second consecutive World Cup. Mbappe is trying to make sure that doesn't happen. And Mbappe is just showing why he's probably going to be the first soccer star to be given a $1 billion contract. Holland is like I feel like Holland is going to be like the new Zlatan in terms of like where like he stands. Where like, will he be the top guy? No. But will he be a top guy who like ruins people's lives and he's going to be like weird, and so that's just gonna always have like a cult following around him? Yes, I do think that's gonna happen. Because he's 25. We don't know how weird he is yet.
Can I just say, watching Zlatan do like the halftime and the after, it's been phenomenal.
He's a TV star. He is a TV star. He needs to make sure that he only sticks to sports, because if we learn more about him, that will change. Yeah, no, Zlatan is a freaking TV star. He's really. I think him and Thierry Henry have been a really good duo. They've been very good. And like, not just because they're dunking on like Lawless every once in a while. Like when it's just them, like them after the Argentina Cabo Verde match, I thought was incredible. I thought they put the perfect exclamation on it. I thought they put the perfect context on it. Like it was really good. Like they're doing like. That's what a studio show is supposed to be, man. Like that's pregame. That's how you do pre and post. That's how you do pre, post, and half. All right? Just be good at it and just talk about the game. And spoiler alert, people like it, especially soccer fans. Oh man. But circling back though to like the overall, like what I'm trying to say, like these stars have been out of their mind so far. So I kind of want to go around in a circle. Starting with Ryan, because Ryan and I have been rabid soccer fans since last Tuesday. Right. God damn it!
I'm gonna wait to see what happened just now.
Yeah, I think you're like a minute ahead of us.
45 seconds. I'm gonna be real mad.
It's probably gonna be stupid as hell.
What's funny is that in the side chat of this totally legal streaming website I'm using, somebody put 4-1 Belgium, and they.
Oh my god!
If what I think is about to happen.
Oh my god! Really?
That was bad.
Yeah. Look. Can we just before we get to the star part of this, I think we need to talk about this game real quick.
Yeah, so we're gonna take a digression from what I want to talk about, because with 93 minutes left, 4 minutes of added time, the United States is about to lose in the round of 16 to Belgium 4-1. Before this game, Florian Balogun had his red card suspended due to, let's be honest, tampering from the president. But whatever, man, he was playing. He also shouldn't have gotten the red card in the first place. But whatever. Balogun is playing. Pulisic did go down early in the second half, so he's been out for the rest of the game. But the United States going into this game, they were a slight favorite, but they were a favorite. Belgium, this is kind of the last of like a good era of team that they have, but they're pretty old for the most part, and this is supposed to be the United States golden generation. These aren't dudes that are just sorry, almost died. These aren't dudes that are just kind of good these aren't dudes that are really good in MLS that then kind of contribute in Europe. You know, Pulisic, he's one of the top guys in Chelsea as well as Premier League. There's other players on the team that aren't just like farting around European clubs. They're playing quality minutes and they're like contributors. They're not, clowns. Balogun, he's another star in Europe. This is supposed to be like the first really okay, now we can compete with Europe. And we were supposed to win this game. We were a slight favorite, but we were supposed to win this game. And not only did they lose this game, like they lost it in like incredibly embarrassing fashion. Like this was really bad. And it's not simply because they got the doors blown off because it's 4-1. It's literally how
a comedy of errors.
Unbelievable.
Our goalie pulled a Young Wei Koo. Straight up.
It was ridiculous.
Young Wei Koo showed up on the field today.
Yeah, Kyle, you think he'd be up?
So first off, when I saw the bracket, and I don't know if I said this to you guys on air or off air, I was more worried about the winner of the Senegal-Belgium game than I was Spain and Portugal, because of the way that I saw Portugal and Spain have their moments where they didn't look the best. For example, Portugal probably shouldn't have beat Croatia. If we're all super honest there, they probably should not have beaten Croatia. And they didn't really look good against some of the other competition. Like Colombia should have beaten them 1-0 if not for VAR. There was a lot of talk before that match or before the tournament that basically Ronaldo is more harm than helpful for this team because he's putting so much pressure on the rest of the team. And we also saw that in this game today, that the guy who had the winning goal against Croatia last game didn't even sniff the field. That's also on Ronaldo and his position on that team. So there was a part of me that was like, yeah, it probably doesn't look good, but I can see a viable way for us to beat Portugal. Same thing with Spain. They're a little bit young. They took care of business after Cabo Verde, but there was a part of me that was like, maybe that youngness shows up and they're able to beat Spain. I was more worried about Senegal, Belgium, because Senegal was a really good team that just happened to be in the same part of the group as France and Norway, two heavy hitters that are probably going to make it to the semifinals. And then with Belgium has still been very good, and they've had our number. So for the idea of us being a slight favorite against Belgium, I thought that was silly. And I didn't think it was going to be this way, but also this is showing us how the world reacts to this game, and that we can't Americanize this game when the whole entire world is watching. When you do something stupid, I get that he shouldn't have had the red card. You can make that good argument, but once it's there, you can't do shit like that. You can't just take it away because USA. And literally, Belgium is playing in a way that they were pissed off. They probably could have put more on us. I'm reading a lot of the chats where it's like, it's lucky that it's only 3-1 because they're still attacking because they want to show a message. And the message was, you don't fuck with the system like that. And, unfortunately, there's been a lot of really good things with this World Cup, a lot of really good stories, a lot of really good camaraderie. But we always said at the beginning of this that there was a very bad undertow of everything that's happened before this that has shown the brutality of America. And unfortunately, I feel like with us and America and corruption, we kind of got our just desserts. I didn't want it to end like this, but I had a feeling that once this red card was rescinded the way it was, we weren't going to win this game.
2 shots on goal. 2 shots on goal, 11 fouls. They had possession for almost 60% of the match. It was that first goal by Belgium, like that was just Belgium playing really well. It was just good play design. They caught the defense slacking. United States able to respond and then almost immediately give up a goal to Belgium, to the same guy that scored the first one. And then in the second half, this goalie, this guy, dude, get him off the squad. Like the second I heard he was the goalie for NYFC and that his main job is being in the MLS, I immediately got shook. I know that soccer has gotten better in the United States. I know the MLS is not the joke league it used to be. I know that. But it is still the MLS, man. Like what Japan. No, not even Japan. Like, we're the freaking KBO to Europe. That's what MLS is. MLS is best case Korean baseball compared to European soccer. And, like, to your point, Kyle, like, yeah, man, like, look, FIFA's usually corrupt, but, like, that type of corruption right before was super blatant. It was super gross. Like it was, and it just, like, man, like, this also like makes me question like long-term the mindset of this team. Cause like that was just so damn weak. It was so damn weak. Like I get Pulisic is on the sideline because he's like devastated. He's got an injury in the biggest match of his life at that point. But like, damn, dude, that stuff happened in the 66th minute.
He wasn't good for the majority of the game. Yeah, he wasn't good the entire game.
But also, like, that goal, that ridiculous goal, I thought I was watching college, man. That looked like something that looked like a really bad move out of, like, the NCAA or, like, something you see on a not top 10 on from, like, the MLS or, like, a rogue European league, man. That
like
was
watching Titans.
Like, that was clown. That was
like watching the Tennessee Titans play.
Shit. What?
Well,
so watching the Tennessee Titans play.
Because you're talking about Pulisic, I saw something that found an apt comparison to the NFL. This was his Jay Cutler moment in the 2011 NAC championship game,
where he refused to go back in because he had a hurt knee.
Yep.
Like, oh man, like it just...
they were overmatched the entire game. You could just see the difference in skill. It was pretty clear from get-go. That team looked like the moment was too big for them. I felt like the moment was too big.
It felt like that mixed with like hubris in the sense of like
the chance they got in the first minute. Like that's a golden opportunity for Belgium. The first minute of the game.
Yeah.
When you're still feeling each other out. Like he made an incredible save, but like you shouldn't be giving up that chance within the first minute of the game.
Like I think the United States, the second they got Balogun, like I think they thought they were not necessarily going to coast, but I think they maybe thought they had it in the bag and maybe they were overconfident. But
I would certainly hope not.
They might have, man. They might have the weak
mentality.
This team was really this team was really pompous.
Didn't they spend a lot of money to bring this coach in too? Like he's supposed to be this like all world soccer coach.
Pochettino, yeah.
He had no adjustments. Nothing.
Yeah. Not really any adjustments. I don't really recall seeing any fucking subs that would have helped. It was rough, man.
Yeah, they had one shot to like 86 minutes, like 80 to the 86 minutes, like one shot on goal.
Like just one. Absolutely asinine. Like, Will, I know that you're kind of okay with this because of the lulls, but also like that was a bad game. Like that was just such a bad game. That was a bad game by the United States.
Yes.
Yeah. We were just saying, when this game started and they'd gone back and forth with goals, it was 2-1 Belgium. I was saying at least this game's fun. At least, both teams are scoring goals. There's a lot of back and forth. This last half was just an onslaught by Belgium. And just it really made me rethink the U.S. team because they had been doing so well up to this point. And I was just like, what happened? Was it literally just the events of the last couple of days and like what had happened with the whole political sphere of the game? Was it just they got cocky because they were in the group of 16? I don't know. But this wasn't the U.S. team that everyone was like, oh, maybe we're back. This was the U.S. team of 2022, of 2018, of years past where they just weren't a team. And I hate to see them regress like that. But like, maybe there's some promise for 2030. I don't know. I don't know what the team's going to look like. I guess we just move on and find out.
I genuinely thought that if a result like this was going to happen, I thought the earliest, and like, shame on me, I guess, for believing in the men. But like, I thought the earliest a matchup like this was going to happen. I thought the earliest something like this was going to happen was going to be in the quarters against a Spain, like not against the Belgium. And like, I know that they lost the Belgium recently, but then also you hear that like, oh, Pochettino was feeling stuff out. He doesn't always try that hard. And it's just like, all right, well then what the hell was that? I will say I understand he didn't make I understand he didn't make some adjustments. And that's very much on him. I gotta say, man, like I'm kind of shocked and disappointed by like that US squad, man. Like they just like bad body language. I know it's like a rough loss. Like I know it, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, stick your chin up. I'm not even talking about that. Like, bro, look at how you played. What the hell did you think was gonna happen?
Yeah, you can't go like that.
Like,
especially
what do you
when
think
you're hosting the World Cup.
Yeah, you're hosting the World Cup in Seattle. You already won once in Seattle. Like, what the hell was that?
But Kyle, also, like,
what the hell was that?
Well, but the other thing is we saw this with all the host teams, right? Every single host team got to the round of 16, which, like, that's super cool. You won a knockout game, but in previous time it would have been in general just the top 16. So, like, congrats, you made it back to where you've been before. Canada, every one of the host teams, they always get a path that's a little bit easier. Canada had Qatar, they had Switzerland, they had Bosnia and Herzegovina. Not necessarily a murderous row team. Same thing with us. Paraguay did beat Germany. That's really cool to have seen. But also Australia kind of looked a little bit listless against Egypt and just forgot how to save during penalties, right?
And keep talking. I have to go to the next room really quickly.
Yeah, and also like the fact that Turkey, they were really lucky with a Turkey team that couldn't, for the life of them, shoot goals in the first two games. I think that with Canada, with the United States, with Mexico, it's a little bit like as good as their moments are. It's also kind of hard to get an exact pinpoint on how good they are when they have groups like that are benefiting them to be able to get out to the next round, right? Mexico, it was really cool that their first four games, they didn't give up a single goal. But again, it was South Korea who had their own issues and had their coaches now in witness protection because of the moves that he made. It was Czechoslovakia, it was South Africa, which again, cool, you made it past the group stage, but also it was your first time in the knockout stage and you lost to a pretty listless Canada who got their ass kicked by Morocco. I think they all had positives, but I think it was really it was a little bit foolhardy to think that because each one of these teams won their group so quickly, that would mean that each one of them was going to get to the quarterfinals without a hitch.
No, but I think you want the United States to put a better effort forward than what they did. Like even though Canada lost to Morocco 3-0, you could say for the first half Canada was the better team. They just didn't capitalize on their scoring opportunities. And Mexico, controlled pace of play, but they lost because England capitalized on the few chances they got. I just think the United States played the worst of the three host nations, and it kind of just showcased the skill gap that still exists between the United States and the rest of the world, even with all the resources that they've put into the U.S. program over the last 4 years.
But I guess a small other thing would be again, unfortunately, we don't know how much of the last 24 hours has affected this team, right? Like we can clearly see a team like Iran that arguably probably should have made it to the knockout stage if not for literally a toe or Austria scoring in the last minute, right? What Iran had to go through to just even closely get to the knockout stage. Whether we like it or not, this is as interesting and as exciting that this tournament has been. It also has been a really interesting clusterfuck, and
yeah,
that affects the psyche of the team that has to represent a country that maybe not all of them necessarily agree with, and especially when Trump has to put his nose into this again. I understand that you, as an athlete, you probably should be able to get past the psyche stuff, but this feels a little bit different on a world basis rather than a state to state basis.
Yeah, but if you're paying this coach all this money, he should have his guys ready to play. That's on the coach.
Yeah, I will also say part of that too is on the players as well, because these guys have been playing with each other for years. Come on, man.
You gotta sold out Quest Field. I still call it Quest Field. You have to show up in that environment.
Yeah.
That stadium, that environment, the whole world watching, the whole United States finally behind your program. That's the moment you gotta go out and seize, regardless of what's surrounding you. You gotta go seize it. Or at least put an effort better than what you did.
Well, also too, I just thought about this now. This was the worst elimination game so far, and I don't mean in terms of boringness, but I mean in terms of score. I think at most the largest deficit was 2 goals. I think maybe
Morocco beat Canada 3-0.
Canada, yeah.
Okay,
but Canada was more competitive in the first half. They controlled pace of play. They were the team that was more aggressive and came out and imposed their will.
Canada gets it though, because I guess Canada technically gets it because they didn't score in that game. But this is embarrassing because it's not even like Mexico, where Mexico put up a fight, man. This is embarrassing. This is bad. I think this puts United States soccer, especially considering all the stuff surrounding it. I think this puts United States, and not that I'm a big soccer head and that I'm going to be following this, but I do think this looks really bad. Just objectively, as a look, this looks awful, man. This looks awful. You pulled some chicanery to get your top guy, and then you get embarrassed. You didn't lose, you got embarrassed, man. Embarrassed.
We're gonna see that ground kick for the rest of our lives. The way Youngwei Koo couldn't live that down, we're gonna be seeing that in highlights for the rest of our lives.
The ground kick, and then that goddamn stupid fucking running out.
Like, I didn't think that was possible to see another moment like that, but by God, did we ever?
Well,
Yeah.
I would say before we leave this, though, right? Yes, this is really bad. Like, we can't shake that off. But there needs to be a breaking of the pattern, right? Because we get to over the last couple of World Cups, it's been, oh, we might have a chance, right? And then when said chance doesn't happen, then we go like, oh, well, it's same America. Like we don't care about this sport, right? Like we're not going to care about this sport. And then 4 years later come and be like, oh, hey, have you heard the United States might have a chance, right? We have, even with how bad this game was, there's been a lot of really good momentum throughout this tournament, not just for the United States team, but for soccer in general as a viewing experience here. So the question from there is, how do we break this cycle, right? Of like going from, oh, this sucks, to the cynicism of not watching anymore, to then becoming fair weather fans once the next World Cup rolls around, and then having our hearts breaking again because, oh, we're United States, we should be better than all these other teams. There has to be a changing of that guard, and I don't know what that answer is at the moment, but I just hope we don't fall into that same cynicism.
From Mike Ryan, one of the producers on Dan Le Batard, as well as a rabid soccer hooligan. 31 minutes ago, a depressing, flat performance that was a nightmare come to life. Freeze not being good enough, Ream being a defensive liability, Pulisic being fragile. But the most disappointing part was how uninspired the U.S. was. Will, were you stretching or did you have something to say?
I was going to say, if we're trying to break the cycle of, oh, we're going to be better than everyone else, let me just point you to my hat here. We just got to think with this. We just got to think like we already are bad. Let's just, let's ball, right? Let's just go in, no expectations, and have some fun.
Oh, man.
Brian, you have something?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback off your point about breaking the cycle. I'm going to be really curious to see what the ratings are going to be now that the U.S. is out.
I think
this will tell us. I think this will tell us a lot.
Will do well. I think the games that have Messi and Mbappe will do well.
But like, I'm curious how, like, let's say, like, if it's Morocco versus Egypt, like, how do we think those ratings would be for the non-soccer fans?
I think we're very lucky with what some of this quarterfinals is looking like, because you already have England, Norway, which is going to be really fun. You have France and Morocco. That's going to be an incredible game. Do not, like, I know France probably is going to win that, but do not count out Morocco the way that they have played. You have Spain, Belgium, which you think Spain would win that handily, but at the same time, Belgium has shown up since like the last, I guess, this game and the last 8 minutes of the last game. And then you most likely will have Argentina, Colombia, which, like, man, like, if you get Argentina, Colombia in the last game, especially after the Copa America final a few years ago, like, you just wait for that, because fans are going to be absolutely rabid.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, a lot of maybe the casual U.S. fan that was tuning in because it was their home nation in the tournament. Like, I'm curious to see what kind of ratings these games will pull, especially not nationally. Around the world, we'll know what it's going to pull. I'm talking about strictly in the United States. Like, this will kind of be a good gauge to see if there is interest in soccer outside of just watching it because your host nation's in it.
So FIFA is absolutely rooting for 3 teams: Argentina, France and England.
I disagree.
Maybe Norway.
Because I think, well, no, because Matt, I think this goes back to what we were going to talk about before the United States game. Yes, there are clear about the stars, right? Because you can still argue that even without, of course, you got Messi, you got Holland, you got Mbappe, you got Harry Kane, but also these other teams that are still in there. I mean, there's a couple of them that do have some pretty big names like Luis Diaz for Colombia, or like we were talking about Mo Salah for Egypt, right? They're maybe not necessarily the biggest names comparably worldwide, but even like a Yamal, right, for Spain, we still do have
Isn't he like
a
12?
decent amount, something like that. I
Yeah,
think I saw
close
somewhere
enough.
where because he was it him or was it a Mexican player who, because he wasn't of age, he could only do like milk commercials or something like that, not
That's
alcohol
amazing.
commercials. But what I'm saying is, I think that there's enough players here that like are on the end of their time, right? Like a Messi, like uh, maybe even a Kane. One of the players on Colombia too. They said that it's their last go around, where it's you get to see the ending of some of these stories, but you also get to see the budding stars like Yamal, like Holland, that are like Bellingham, who are going to hopefully usher in a new wave. And I think this is a prime opportunity. And like Ryan, you are right that probably is going to be what makes or breaks it for this time around. But if we are going to have a continued interest in it, I think it's going to be not just the top 3 players that we're talking about, but also these 1As that are going to get a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does also help that the match quality has overall been better because, talking to my friends who paid more attention to the last World Cup compared to this one, they've all said that this one has been significantly better, which huzzah. I want to switch stories now and switch sports because the United States is out of FIFA, which means soccer doesn't matter anymore. Just kidding. Damn it. That sucks. It
leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Well, I really want to switch topics, but I just can't get off of this, man. They just all looked so weak. They just all looked so weak mindset. And I don't mean weak as in frail and decrepit, but
fragile, mentally fragile.
They all just it kind of reminds me of. Okay, so don't laugh too hard, but did you guys all see Mighty Ducks 3?
No.
Been a minute.
Unfortunately, no.
It's been a minute.
All right, so in Mighty Ducks 3, the Mighty Ducks all get a scholarship to this really nice prep school in Minnesota, essentially so they can keep playing hockey for this high school. And the big culmination of the movie is the Mighty Ducks versus the preppy varsity team. And the Mighty Ducks, you guys know the story. They're all a bunch of poor kids from Minneapolis that scrap together and they're become the greatest hockey team that then ends up representing the United States in the Kid Olympics. That's the second one. But in the third one, they're in high school. But my point though is so in the third movie, you got the scrappy other side of the track kids versus the prep school kids. And they win 1-0 after and that's how the movie ends. Spoiler alert, it's 30 years old. But then the movie ends with Gordon Bombay, Emilio Estevez smiling and then walking away. And as he walks away, you see the varsity team that just lost and they're all just sulking and all their heads are down. And of all of the teams the Mighty Ducks beat, they were the loseriest of the loseriest because also they were just prep kids. They were prep kids that were just given everything. And that's just what I feel I watched, man. I feel this is the first time they told someone, do you know who my dad is? And it didn't work. That's what I feel that's what I watched with this soccer team, man. It sucks. I want to move on. I want to talk about Jaylen Brown getting traded to the Sixers. That's something else. That's something else that I have an opinion on.
Please talk about that.
I feel very strongly on, but I can't get off this, man. I can't get off of this because they just played so fucking weak, man.
Okay, hang on. Boston hats on.
They played so weak.
I think. Well, not just that, right? I think, unfortunately, sometimes we don't think that we're the villains of sports, and we have to realize that we were today.
No, I knew that going into the matchup. I'm not.
It's okay to be the villain, but it's not okay to not show up.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not that. No, I knew that. I knew we were Cruella DeVille.
People root for us to lose.
I knew we weren't the 101 Dalmatians, Kyle. Like,
We're Cruella DeVille.
Like, you know, I know the songs about us. Okay, like I'm self-aware. You know, like it wasn't like it like, and like I'm not just saying this for the joke. It seriously wasn't that. Like it seems like they were like, all right, we're being scuzzy, but then you didn't even show up, man. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like.
And it was from Jump too. It was from Jump.
It was bad.
Like it felt over. It felt over after the first minute.
I honestly, when they tied it, I was like, all right, we should be okie dokie. There's the equalizer. Second they gave up that second goal, I was like, oh, I think it's already done.
I didn't even feel good after the equalizer because I don't know. That was the only way you were able to generate any offense. No set plays, no nothing. Like you got your goal off of a free kick, and you could generate absolutely nothing before that and after that.
Hey man,
look, we've all rooted for really bad New York teams, so we understand what this is.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Everyone in this chat has.
But also, look at us. We did an hour and 10 minutes on soccer.
We did.
We pieced it together pretty good.
Yeah.
Like a majority of this show is going to be about soccer, a sport that literally, when this started less than a month ago, I was like, and I needed Kyle to remind me.
And I didn't care at all.
Genuinely, I needed Kyle to remind me. Kyle was like, it's on Thursday. And I was like, no, it's not. He was like, yeah, it is. Like, oh, man. Like,
is it time to laugh at Jaylen?
Is it Jaylen Brown time? Is it Jaylen Brown time?
Yeah. All right. So
get your chuckles out.
So we all have we all have the same opinion about the trade. And before we get to the nuances of the trade, I think since we all have similar opinions, we should all let it out at once. 3, 2, 1.
Get absolutely fucked.
You traded Jaylen Brown for Paul
George. And 2 first-round picks. 2 first-round picks.
Where's Jay?
You traded for pennies on the dollar.
Because he's got pennies.
Maybe Jaylen Brown really is the 9th best player on the Celtics.
Oh my God, that was crazy. Okay, laughing over.
Matt,
but the only other big news.
Yeah, where's Jay? He should be here for this.
Jay is genuinely at a bar. He was at a bar because
tell him to get on for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, get up for this part.
He honestly might be drunk.
Go ahead. That makes it even better.
Okay, hold on.
He's got to be here for this.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Jay's a Sixers fan.
To give your Jaylen Brown take. Or you drinking away U.S.
Sorrows.
Sucking at soccer. But Jaylen Brown going to the Sixers, it's by far the worst Boston trade of the century. It topped the Mookie one. Frankie from Southie can confirm that. But very, very, very genuinely, I really don't think I'm being that hyperbolic. This is probably the worst Boston trade for Boston in terms of sending a player away. And not just sending a player away, but sending them away to a damn rival. This is probably their worst trade since the Babe Ruth trade. Like, very sincerely.
You can make an argument this is as bad as Luka. Because at least the Mavericks got the first overall pick out of it and got Cooper Flag.
I'm talking like Boston.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking basketball. Yeah, basketball-wise, it's on the Luka level in terms of just absolute mismanagement of assets.
Yeah. I think you can make the argument that the Luka one is slightly better because AD is...
You got Cooper.
Well, you got Cooper, but also AD is younger than Paul George.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only saving grace on that one. But, like...
Also, why does Paul George keep getting traded? Why do
people love him for whatever reason? I don't get it.
He's got
Paul George on his way to blow up another franchise.
Dude, he's got sexy contracts, man. Worked out for OKC.
Peptide P.
But just it was a really bizarre trade, and I actually, so this was my reaction to it, and you guys can either laugh at me or maybe you can empathize or ask questions. But like, I got like physically angry when I read more about this trade, because the more, and it's not even like, oh no, here comes the Sixers coming after the Knicks. Oh me, oh my. Is Joel Embiid still on that team? Is he still a main focal part of that offense? Yeah, I'm not worried about the goddamn Sixers. All right. So no, that's not why I'm angry. I'm angry because, and pardon my French when I say this, that was such a bitch move by Boston. Like, that was just such a weak as fuck bitch move. You didn't just trade your star. It's not Tatum. It's Jaylen Brown. I know he's the 7th best player on the team. Well, you played a lot better with the 7th best player than you did with fucking Tatum. Even when they won the title, it was with Brown, not with Tatum. Tatum was not good. He did not win the ECF MVP. He did not win the Finals MVP. Yes, Kyle, I know that Finals run was flagrant because half of the teams were injured. Nah. But like, I am tired. Like you gave away a 1A. Oh, you're just yawning. Okay, now I feel bad. But now I feel bad. Like, my point though is, like, he is at worst your one freaking A. And you just freaking gift wrapped him to not just a division rival, but a division rival who embarrassed you in the playoffs for the first time in 40 plus years. And you didn't just trade him to them, you made them astronomically better. Not kind of better, a lot better. A lot better. The Sixers are objectively better this week with Jaylen Brown than they all were Paul George. Even when he was freaking healthy, I would much rather have Jaylen Brown than freaking Paul George. Jaylen Brown is going to be the one there, which is good, because that's honestly probably going to benefit Maxey low-key. That low-key could get more production out of him, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a Sixers fan. I texted one, but he hasn't responded because he's probably drinking. Good for him, though. But like, this move was just so weak to me by Boston. It was so weak. You just gift wrapped your best player and you gave him to Philly? Like, congrats to Philly, man. You're so much better. But are you kidding me, Boston? Like I already didn't like, of the teams that I don't like, Boston Red Sox are by far still the one that I cannot stand the most. And like, I just don't overall, because I'm a New York fan, I don't overall love Boston based teams. So like, I know that like I do have a bias, and I understand and I concede that. Hooray, self-awareness. But like, man, I don't know how you I don't know how you can respect the Celtics or look at them the same way, man. Like, I don't. That was such a bitch move. That was such a weak move. And I there's a part of me that wonders if the Celtics are low-key entering a dark time, which, first of all, whoa! But second of all, like, dude, fuck you. Like, that was such a bitch move. That was so weak. You gift wrapped Jaylen Brown.
Wait, Matt.
Yeah.
Was it a bitch move?
It was a bitch move. I know. I said that a million times.
We know why he was traded. They didn't want to pay the extension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, it was.
Like, yeah,
they're turning into the Red Sox right before our eyes.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they're being run.
Yeah. Private equity, baby. Private equity got them. Boston is screwed, man. You better hope that the Bruins don't have any private equity in them. Because you know that Bob Kraft will eventually give private equity to the paper.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
He's going to let private equity do a little naughty with the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it won't be in a massage parlor in Florida, though. I don't know why I did that. I think it's just because I'm bitter at Boston right now. Kyle, as an apology for yelling at you when you yawned, I know I was over the top, but Kyle, Jaylen Brown is a Sixer.
No, I want to hear Will first.
Okay, Will.
Yeah.
Will, what are the streets like, man? Because like everything I've seen that's like Boston fan related about this trade,
not happy.
They are borderline like on suicide watch.
Let me tell you, my office, which I go into once a week for my day job, because I work at home otherwise, it is about a 10-minute walk from North Station, TD Garden, classic home.
Oh, wow.
Right. There's been a dark aura over that entire area, just the entire harbor, pretty much the entire north end. maybe even going down towards Government Center. Nobody's feeling good right now. And I think it's because, Jaylen Brown's not just a Celtic, right? He was like a Bostonian. He was like part of the community. He helped out with youth sports. He revitalized a lot of areas. Like he helped out Dorchester. He helped out, other parts of the city that really needed assistance. He helped, speak out for civil rights for all Bostonians. And like now he's gone. And yeah, maybe he'll do that in Philly. I'm sure he will. He's a very good guy. But to have him ripped away from us in an act of purely business, which is kind of bullshit, for us to get Paul George and some, first round picks and second round picks who might be good. Yeah, that you can make.
Wait, hold on. I heard those pronouns. Don't you claim them? Don't claim them, Will. Will, we've talked about this before. Will, you are allowed to be a Knicks fan. Becca does not care about the Celtics. Continue.
Let me just come from the framing of the Celtics fan, from the mind.
Okay. Don't claim them, though.
Basically, you can argue that, we're thinking of the Celtics' future. We're thinking of, what the team will be like down the road. But the fact of the matter is, we still had the window wasn't closed for us. And I think they might have jumped the gun on this or any big trade a couple years too early. So I think now that they did this, the window has been closed a little faster than intended. It'll be tough. It'll be tough the next few years while we see where the team goes from here. But I don't think it's in the direction that people necessarily want it to go.
They say that they think Pritchard is going to take a Brunson leap.
I saw that.
No,
that's that's foolhardy.
I wouldn't have made that public. I would have kept that to myself.
I
think that's foolish, and I would.
You're adding more pressure.
Maybe put voice to you, expect him to take a jump. They're saying that, but they shouldn't have said
Finals MVP Jalen Brunson.
Finals MVP Jalen Brunson, who scored the first 45-point game in a finals clincher for the first time since Michael Jordan.
Yep.
No, don't
That's
say
what he's gonna be.
Don't say dumb shit like that. That's like when the Yankees, to inspire them in 2022, they showed the team the 2004 Red Sox. What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Yeah, you know what's going to inspire you? My rival. What? My rival and stupid expectations. Ryan, we're already here. Ryan, you love hating on Boston.
Of course.
Outside of, well, I mean, I'll just ask you this, man, because I was, outside of being pissed off, which you all heard about, I was floored that this even happened was even an option. So, we all knew he was going. None of us thought he was going in Philly. Never that was on the table. Ryan, what was your reaction to A, he moved, and then B, who he moved to?
My initial reaction was I laughed out loud. I laughed so hard I cried. And I will fully admit I took immense joy in reading that trade and then listening to Boston YouTube reporters just losing their crap over it. I took immense pleasure in it as a bona fide Boston hater myself. Weirdly enough, I think the Celtics might be okay this year. I still think they'll win 50-plus games. Like Paul George in a secondary role who can still give you 18, 4, and 5 when he's healthy and can space the floor. You saw what a healthy Paul George looked like in the playoffs. That's still a viable starter in this NBA. Especially in the Eastern Conference where it's still going to be wide open. And when you got Tatum a year off the Achilles, potentially coming back fully healthy, that's the hope. I think Boston will be okay, at least for this year. But to go to Philly, that was the offer you accepted. 30 cents on the dollar. Paul George, 36-year-old Paul George and 2 first-round picks from a team that you expect to be competing for the East, to come out of the East for the next 4 to 5 years. Those picks are going to be in the back end of the first round. I think the most damning thing is now that they came out that Hugo Gonzalez and Baylor Shireman were the reason why you didn't trade for Giannis. you've now just put so much expectations and pressure on those two role players to be a contributing factor to this team that I don't think you can live up to that. I think that's the more damning part. Is that reported that you didn't move Hugo or Baylor for Giannis. I think you have to do that trade in a heartbeat. Like those cannot be your untouchables in a trade like that. And that domino effect led you to trading Jaylen Brown for 30 cents on the dollar to the team that eliminated you last year. Like, if you're going to trade him, send him out of conference at least. Like, out of conference. Like, come on, let's be real. But I guess reporting was that a lot of teams around the league had not the greatest viewpoint on Jaylen Brown. They didn't think of him as the sixth best player in the league, like he's being paid as. Like, they thought he was in the 30s or 40s based on his advanced metrics and numbers. And that's a whole nother spiel we can go into about the league being too analytically driven and not using common sense while watching actual basketball and signing guys. Like, that's a whole other diatribe we could go on. But I don't know what Brad was thinking. And I'm honestly shocked that Brad still has a job after this trade. I fully expect within the next 6 months, it might be a Nico Harrison type of deal where he's just let go, because that's a franchise altering decision for not much return.
I don't know if that's gonna happen to Brad. And like,
I know he's got enough equity build up, but like that trade is a fireable offense.
I think if the end comes, this will be the beginning. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Like, this is like the point of delineation.
Like this, like let's say in like 18 months from now he gets fired. I think, like, if the end is coming, I think this is the beginning of it. Like,
this is the first domino.
We just started the first episode of the final season. Like, that being said, like, Brad has made a lot of chicken salad out of a lot of chicken shit. You know, one of the first things he did was he made Isaiah Thomas an all-star. So like Brad specifically, Mazzulla, I think, is adult. I think Mazzulla is adult.
I don't think he's a good coach.
Like, he is a moron. But Stevens specifically, I don't know, man. Like, he's been proven that, like, he has an eye for talent and can develop. This really does seem like the first screw up. I will note, though, at least per Amin El Hassan, so this is just one analyst's take, but, you know, he used to work in the front office, like GMs and stuff like that. And he did say, you know, because, like, the return was garbage. And it seems like it was hastily made, because it was hastily made. Apparently, when moves like that get made, it's because owners go to their presidents and GMs and they're like, you need to make a goddamn move. Which, like, if that's what happened here, dude, you screwed up. Because then even like that Charlotte, offer that was reportedly out there, we don't know if it's true or not. But like, reportedly what Charlotte was supposedly offering between Naz Reid and, forgive me, I don't know the other player. Was it Brandon Miller? I can't remember. That's not the point. The point, though, is that
Brandon Miller, really?
No, wow, it was Miles. It was Miles. It was Miles. Sorry. It was Naz Reid and Miles Bridges. Sorry. But like,
I take the deal all day long.
Yeah, reportedly that was one of the deals. And like, it probably wasn't just going to be that if it was that for Jaylen Brown. It was also probably going to be at least 1 or 2 picks, which, like, that's Charlotte, man. Even with Jaylen Brown, like, that's a team that's like maybe going to finish in like the low seeds, maybe playing that could probably get knocked out and get you a lottery. Just like, this seemed borderline irresponsible of Brad, which makes me more lean towards what you were saying earlier, in sense of like, oh, here comes private equity. And with that lovely statement that isn't at all triggering, let's toss it to my buddy Kyle. Kyle,
it's if you knew what I was going to talk about. First off, I kind of want to echo what Ryan was saying, that like, if there is a pro part of this, right? I have really enjoyed.
If that Boston's going to suck.
I hit the burst of your bubble on that. I don't think they're going to suck.
I don't either. Yeah.
I think Brad Stevens, I've really, over like the last 5 years, I've really enjoyed his drafting. Not that everything pans out, but I can see the players that he's picking, and it's always really good players in college basketball, even if they are a little bit more experienced, like a Ryan Kalkbrenner, like Chris Sinek. You know,
Baylor
see the
Shireman before he
pieces.
became a punchline.
Baylor
He
Shireman.
was
Yeah.
before he became punchline.
Yeah.
Right. I still think that they have the ability to grow. It's not like they can't. So if I'm going to trust anybody when it comes to drafting, Brad Stevens has been one of the best ones over the last decade. Like we can make fun of him for this particular trade, but he has been great. My thing has been the timing of this because if all you were going to get was Paul George and a couple of firsts and a couple of seconds, especially right after the NBA draft, methinks you probably could have gotten something much better for this beforehand. I'm not saying that you were going to be able to get a Giannis because it doesn't seem like that was the route they were looking for to substitute Giannis for someone a little bit less, but it can still keep you competitive. But yeah, could you have gotten a Nas Reed? Could you have gotten LaMelo Ball? Could you have gotten, or could you? Hey, like, I don't think he would have gone there. But like, if you're already holding out and you're getting Paul George, could you have hold out and gotten LeBron James? That may have could have potentially have happened, right? But you chose this particular time, which felt very, very weird. I felt like the whole entire conversation around Jaylen Brown was very weird to begin with. Like, yes, he said the things that he said on his podcast or on his live stream about this being his favorite year. Like, we're going to poo-poo someone for saying like, "Hey, I was the star of the show. I had a good time." Like, because in any other line of work, if you said something like that, you wouldn't be looked at weird, right? How dare I enjoy the time that I had because I was the center point and I had a good time and we were competitive. Like, sorry, like we can't sit here and be mad about like players not saying anything, and then when they do say something, be like, oh, well, they're egotistical. That's part of the line of the work. But I think this whole entire narrative, it feels a little bit like this was trying to get out there for people to start looking bad at him so that way they could get rid of him so easily. And if this is the case, is private equity, just stop. Like, I think because like the thing is like I hate it that it's in politics to begin with, right? And like now you're putting it into sports. What the problem is that like, and we've kind of already said this with owners in general, right? Is that the people above you don't necessarily always know what's best for the team. And you're making someone like Brad Stevens, who has a pretty immaculate record after leaving the coaching to be in the front office. He's had a pretty, I would say, a pretty clean record when it comes to this stuff. You're making him look like an idiot. If it wasn't his call, you're making him look like an idiot because you're not going to touch the person in private equity. You're going to start talking about him. And that's the thing. It's like these people who are doing the good jobs, right? Who are going to now get demonized because of stuff that they might not even control. Because in all honesty, if we were going to do any sort of move, I feel like it wasn't even a player that they should have moved. It should have been Missoula. They should have canned his ass, right? Because now, congrats, you got rid of Brown. You're not getting rid of the system. If anything, you've made the system even more one-dimensional. And what's going to happen when now, yeah, cool, you're going to have potential success because you can do pretty well the three-pointer during the regular season, but maybe now you're going to be like a 6 seed, and now you're going to get out in the first round, and now, congrats, Jaylen Brown might be doing something even better in the Sixers, and you're out here and potentially canning him a year late when they could have all been avoided.
Yeah. I will say to put a button on this before we move on to the next topic. Sixers, congrats on getting Jaylen Brown. You still ain't getting out of the second round. I am going to end this show with this topic. I'm going to force a what's on your mind onto this person because I know that I texted them a little bit about this earlier, but I do kind of want to talk about this. So Ryan, I'm forcing a what's on your mind on you because it's not official yet. Anything can happen. Scooby Dooby Doo, be ba 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 ba. But it is all but official that LeBron James is going home again. No, actually, again. Ryan, you are getting a trilogy. You are getting a trilogy. You're getting a third movie that you didn't even know got green lit. Not necessarily even like championship aspirations, because like it's like I'm sure LeBron has that, but also LeBron very much cares about his image. So I bet part of this is he wants the perfect goodbye, and like Cleveland, I think, provides him that regardless if they leave with a title or not. But that last part I will say is partially editorializing on my part. But Ryan, forcing a what's on your mind, the king is coming home. How do you genuinely feel? Because this isn't like in 2016 where you were like, all right, we're definitely gonna get one. Like this is, this is Gretzky joining the Rangers in '97. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think I shared my thoughts eloquently in our group chat.
Yeah, you did.
LeBron.
You are freaked up, my dude.
So my love of basketball kind of really took off when LeBron joined the Cavs. I really didn't have a team that I rooted for back then, and I kind of just fell in line with LeBron. And then, like after that, I kind of just stayed a Cavs fan because I kind of just loved the fan base and the team in general. So my love for basketball is pretty much owed to LeBron. I'm not looking at this season as championship or bust. I know it would be nice to win a championship, absolutely, but I think this year, if he signs with us, which it does look like he's going to, it will be more about celebrating the kid from Akron coming home, delivering us championship against the Warriors in 2016. Like, his legacy is cemented in Cavs Nation and in Northeast Ohio for forever, for time immemorial. But it's really cool to see what LeBron, how he has kind of aged gracefully over the years while he's still such a sought-after free agent, because even at age 41 or 42, he's still a very productive NBA player who can add an element to your team that, can get you over the top. I think this is not only huge for the Cavs, but for downtown Cleveland in general. It's going to bring a lot of revenue to those businesses, those small businesses, those restaurants, those mom and pop stores that sell jerseys and hats and Cavs gear. Like, when LeBron comes home to Cleveland, like when he did in his first time he came back, like there was a massive difference between what those local businesses had made pre-LeBron, coming home, and when he was actually in a Cavs uniform. So he drives so much revenue to the city and to those local businesses that I think it's bigger than just basketball for Cleveland. I think it's such an it's hard to put in the words what that man actually means to Cavs fans, just to that region in general. It's like he chose us. You know what I mean? Like, the best player in the world at one point chose us, Cleveland, the team that is the city that is the butt of everybody's joke. The Browns are the Browns. They have such a terrible history, and the Indians have such a snake-bitten history. And for the man who brought a championship to Cleveland, I mean, him coming home and finishing his career is such a storybook ending that I think next season, if it is his last, I think being able to celebrate the man in the city where he's from or the area he's from, and for him to get the welcome he deserves from not only our fan base, but for other fan bases, to like his kind of like farewell tour, like to do it in Cleveland and do it in front of those fans where he's going to get unconditional love. And he's always been the hero for all these kids in that region. Like, I can't think of anything more special than being able to witness that, as not even just a Cavs fan, as a basketball fan, to see him go home and just one more time in front of those fans, just, suit up in the red and the wine and gold and just be a Cavalier again.
So I want to wrap up the show. That was very well said. I want to wrap up the show. Before I wrap up the show and do all that fun bull crap, I got to know now, what is your favorite LeBron memory, or do you have a favorite LeBron memory?
Man, that's tough.
You have a top three.
I have a top three in no
Okay, let's
particular
do top
order. The block, like the block.
That was so good.
Like how is not one of those? The 29 of 30 game against the Pistons, game 5 in the Palace. Like, come on, like that was like the moment that like cemented me as like a basketball fan. And then I know the series didn't end well for us, but the 2009 shot against the Magic where he catches it off the curl and hits that
I was
three.
thinking about that one. Yeah.
And the crowd goes absolutely like I remember where I was. I was at Cal Precious. We were at Waterfall Drive still in Canton, and I was in the weight room down that we worked out in Canton, and I was in the gym, like this tiny gym by myself. And what's that?
That was against the Magic, you said?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I thought you were in Stoughton because I remember.
No, I was in Canton still. That was 2009. We were still at Waterfall Drive.
What am I thinking of?
And I remember just screaming in this tiny little weight room to myself, just losing my absolute crap. It was such a cool moment. So those would be my top 3 LeBron moments, honestly.
Dude, like, it's funny. I remember watching that shot with my dad, and my dad and I both said that, like, if they win the series, it's going to go down as one of his greatest moments ever. But if they lose the series, no one's going to remember it. And, like, you can't say that about that shot. I know it didn't go that way.
Everyone remembers that. Like you can see the angle of the crowd just erupting when he makes that shot. Like it's ingrained and seared into my brain.
Like that is like that. Like, again, I know it didn't go that way, but like that is still like one of LeBron's, like, especially from like his first run with Cleveland. That's by far one of his crowning moments, by far.
Yeah, that iconic shot. Like you everyone remembers where you were when you saw that. Like that was like the first like real big shot, meaningful shot LeBron had hit in his career. Like with like stakes on the line.
I will say that series also did show that at one point in time, Dwight Howard was nothing to fuck with. Like, Dwight Howard was legit, man.
And Hedo Turkoglu and Rashard Lewis, like God. That team was so good, man. I love
robbed the Raptors after
Michael Petrus when he was in his prime.
Oh my God, Michael Richards. Oh, then also, or was it Michael Richards? Who was that guy that
Petrus? Michael. It was Michael Petrus. The guy came off the bench.
It was Michael Petrus, but who was that guy that they paid way too much money to from Seattle?
It was Rashard Lewis.
Yeah, it was
like 7 years, 119 or something, like 6 and 119. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He flew.
That team was so good. And Jameer Nelson, like that team was something special.
Oh yeah.
Like peak Jameer Nelson.
Oh yeah, dude. Former Naismith Player of the Year.
St. Joseph's.
Oh yeah. I
played against the teammate Delonte West in that series.
When I was still at Ryder, we broadcasted a game from the Palladium, and I got to walk by a little thing that like showed like it was like St. Joe's, but within like the St. Joe's like history, it also showed freaking Jameer Nelson and stuff like that. The Palladium is the oldest college basketball venue in America.
Oh wow, I did not know that. That's cool.
Oh yeah. So I do actually want to wrap up this show now because I did just see what time it is. So first things first, gents, thank you very much for joining me as always. Will, I'm going to send it to you first because I know you especially need to go to bed. Will, thank you for joining me and talking football with us. Sorry we didn't get to baseball, but Will, A, like I said, thank you very much for joining us. B, you're welcome back anytime. C, where can the people find you online, and is there anything you want to plug? Do the Paris Fans have anything coming up?
Yes, I will plug the great and wonderful music blog Start Track. That's start-track.com. We talk about indie music. We talk about all sorts of fun stuff on there. Come find a song that you might like. That's start-track.com. And otherwise, it was a pleasure being with you, gents, and very happy to talk football with you and other assorted sports. Hopefully we can do this again.
Absolutely. Monday Night Football. Ryan, thank you very much for joining, as always. Also, Ryan, we talked about soccer for an hour. Look at us go. We're Will Ryan.
Look at us go.
I know, right? Ryan, where can the people find you and your wonderful dogs at online?
Find me at Ryan12490. And the only thing I really want to plug is there's some really cool music shows coming up this summer. A couple of really cool metal shows that me and Kyle are going to try and go to. So we'll give some reviews of those if we get a chance to go to the shows and kind of give you some ideas of, some local bands or some bands that don't get a lot of buzz in the metal scene that, we are pretty excited to go see. So we can do a quick review when we go check out those bands on the show. So look forward to that.
So my job here at the radio station is to play music and all that fun stuff. But I do a segment called Scroll and Roll where I read little lists from rock history and stuff like that. One of the lists I read was bands from 1986 that are now touring in 2026. There's a lot of 80s metal bands that are on tour this summer. Judas Priest is on tour, guys. You guys know
they're still kicking. They're still
they're
as good as they've always been.
They're also one of the older, one of the few old metal bands that
has new material.
I've never heard a bad thing about them. I've never heard a bad thing about them.
And they drop new material still.
Yeah, they had an album 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
I mean, Halford, I feel is slept on as a music mind and performer.
Yeah, and
100%.
It's not necessarily given that a band with that many years can still put out good material. I'm looking at you, Megadeth.
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, I mean, they're just cashing checks. They're just riding Metallica's coattails so they can make
their
money.
new stuff was pretty rough.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me. Kyle, you already got in there, but Kyle, since you're already in there, where can the people find you online? And is there anything you want to plug?
You can find me at the Music Fan 77. I plugged an album from this year, last time, the new Gorillaz album. I'm currently trying to listen to 2025 and 2026 just because of school. I've not been listening to a lot of music, but one that I was actually listening to yesterday, which for any R&B fans, there is a name that you should be keeping an eye out. Her name is Amber Mark. She has put out, her last 2 albums have been really good. One was 3 Dimensions Deep in 2022, which was an hour long, and every song was great. This last year she put out an album called Pretty Idea, 36 minutes, and again, all killer, no filler. If you do like R&B, she has a really good voice, and I think the better thing is she just has some really, really interesting arrangements. So if you're looking for that R&B feel in your life, go for that. And then also keep an eye out on my Instagram page over the next couple of days. I have finally recorded another cover. I don't want to give it out just yet, but over the next couple of days, I am going to put it on Instagram. Check it out.
All right. And you can find me on Instagram at Schmatty_B. Also, make sure you follow the show on Instagram, the Sports Yammer 1 on Instagram. Also, make sure you follow the YouTube page. We are here every Monday from 9 p.m. to roughly around 11, at least Eastern Standard Time. I'm in Colorado, so it's 7 out here. More stuff coming down the pipeline. Also, keep paying attention to the Instagram page because I'm going to be posting clips from the show just so you can get little snippets in case you missed it. But per usual, fight back against those who Dunning-Kruger. Dark Enlightenment is a hoax. And don't just strategize, also empathize. I will see you next week, baby birds.